This is Optimal Health Daily, episode 1640. The Best Time to Exercise by Ross Enamait of RossTraining.com, and I'm Dr. Neil. Welcome back to Optimal Health Daily, or welcome for the first time if you're new here. This is the podcast where I act as your very own personal narrator and read to you from some of the most popular health and fitness blogs online. Now, for a lot more blogs being narrated for you, check out Optimal Living Daily. You can search and find that podcast wherever you're listening to this. And with that, let's get right to today's article as we optimize your life. The Best Time to Exercise by Ross Enamait of RossTraining.com. In recent weeks, I've stressed the importance of making time for exercise despite a busy schedule. For instance, I stated that I'd rather wake up 20 minutes earlier for a brief session on a hectic day instead of doing nothing at all. I also shared a recent example where I performed a 15-minute workout before going to bed at night. Unfortunately, by referencing both early and late night workouts, it appears that I've left some readers confused about the best time of the day to exercise. I've received several questions about the ideal time. With that in mind, I'll use this entry to clarify any confusion. When is the best time to exercise? To put it bluntly, I believe the best time to exercise is the time that you actually will. Whether you train in the morning, afternoon, or night isn't going to make much of a difference. There is no reason to split hairs over fluctuations in body temperature, testosterone, and pain tolerance at different times of the day. No one is weak or overweight because they are exercising at the wrong time. The body can adapt to almost anything, and that includes exercising at various times. I'm all for science and critical thinking, but certain topics are best left alone. There's no reason to complicate what time of the day someone chooses to exercise. Using myself as an example, I've trained at just about every hour in the day. I'm not the product of a particular time. I'm the product of hard work, and hard work doesn't discriminate between hours. You decide. When pondering the best time to exercise, I like to use a simple analogy. When is the best time of the day to defend yourself and your loved ones? If someone threatened your child, would you not respond because your body temperature wasn't optimized at that particular hour? Or perhaps you tell the attacker to come back in an hour when your testosterone levels have peaked. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, but my point shouldn't be difficult to decipher. Just as we defend our family at any time, we also have the ability to exercise at almost any time. It all boils down to choice. We make time for whatever we deem to be important, and what we choose to do depends on what we've prioritized in our lives. Some people prioritize exercise, while others don't. Personal preference. While we all have the potential to exercise at various times, personal preference certainly comes into play. Our individual schedules are relevant as well. For example, if you work a third shift, your ideal time is likely different from someone who works 9 to 5. It's important that you find a time that works for you and your family. Using myself as an example, I found that early morning workouts work best for me. I get very busy during the day, so I prefer to get my primary workout out of the way. Therefore, even on the craziest of days, I can at least take comfort in the fact that I've already pushed myself through a quality workout. I don't need to worry about what time I'll finish work and whether or not I'll have time to train. There is no perfect time. Although it is important to find a time that works for you, it's also important to realize that there's no such thing as a perfect time. Just because I train in the morning doesn't mean I always wake up eager and ready to go. I don't even consider myself a morning person. I've simply become accustomed to exercising in the morning after many years of practice. My early morning habit began as a young boxer. When I fought competitively, I used to hate the start of training camp. I still remember dreading the alarm clock whenever I begin training for another fight. The first few days of early morning workouts always felt like torture. I hated every minute of it. After a week or so, though, I'd be outside training in the morning without even thinking about it. Morning sessions would gradually become part of the daily routine. I didn't think about whether I liked the time or not. It was just something I had to do to get where I wanted to go. Final thoughts. The reason I share the story of myself as a youngster is to remind you that the right time for you might not seem like it at first. It's not unusual for changes in our daily routine to bring about negative feelings. Those feelings typically subside, however, when we are doing something to better ourselves. The key is to stick with the work long enough for more positive feelings to kick in. That's where grit becomes so important. The right time to exercise isn't necessarily going to be an easy time, and that's where many people are misled. The industry wants everyone to think that it's easy to get in shape. It's not easy. It takes hard work and sacrifice. Waking up earlier or going to bed later are the types of sacrifices that dedicated individuals are willing to make. The question, therefore, isn't what the best time to exercise is. The real question is whether or not you're willing to make time. The time that you consistently make is the time that's right for you. You just listened to the post titled, "The Best Time to Exercise" by Ross Enamait of RossTraining.com. No one knows what you're looking for in a doctor better than you, and no one's better at giving you the tools to find the perfect doctor than Zocdoc. The people who created Zocdoc found the major pain points in healthcare, all the things that weren't working, and said, enough. And they made booking a great doctor surprisingly pain-free. I've seen the app, and they make it really easy to find a doctor because you can read up on local doctors, get verified patient reviews, and see what other real humans had to say about their visit. So when you walk into that doctor's office, you're set up to see someone in your network who gets you. Zocdoc is a free app that shows you doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them. Go to Zocdoc.com/OHD and download the Zocdoc app for free. Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's Zocdoc.com/OHD. Zocdoc.com/OHD. Dr. Neil here for my commentary. I realize making time for exercise, let alone eating right, is tough. We all are busy. I've had retired people tell me I'm just too busy to exercise, but I don't get into an argument with them because we could all argue that we're too busy to do some of these lifestyle behaviors. We're too busy to exercise, too busy to plan our meals, too busy to go grocery shopping, too busy to manage our stress better, no matter how backwards that last one sounds. So instead, what I do is I try and reframe it for my patients or clients. So I'll ask them something like, how often do you shower? And they'll say, like, take a shower every day, duh. And I say, okay, and how long does it take you to take a shower and then get yourself ready for the day? And, they'll usually say something like, well, I don't know, anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the client I'm speaking with. And then I'll say, and you probably, brush your teeth as part of that process. You brush your hair. And what would we call all of this? And eventually they catch on and they say something like, well, I'm taking care of my body. I'm cleaning my body. I'm making myself look good. And I say, then what is exercise? And then you see that light bulb go off. And they go, taking care of my body? And I say, exactly. So we make the time for taking care of ourselves in other ways, like when you think about how long you may spend looking in the mirror, making yourself look nice, but yet we forget to do it for other things that are probably just as important, like exercising and meal planning. So as Ross mentioned, is it really that we don't have time, or is it's just not a priority? And that's a whole different conversation. But if we really break it down, we do have the time. And I completely agree with Ross in that whatever time of the day you have to exercise, then that is the best time. Don't stress about whether you have to work out midday because that's when your stress hormones are at their lowest, so you want to boost them, or first thing in the morning is more important because it helps you burn fat through the rest of the day, or late at night's not good because it might interrupt your sleep. Don't stress about those things. As long as you get the workout in, no matter what time, that's what's important. And of course, if you can stay consistent with it. All right, that's it for today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your holiday weekend for those of us in the U.S. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back here tomorrow as usual. So I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.